All right. No pressure, but we're recording.
The effort.
Yeah.
Just put the effort in.
Yeah, I got you.
Austin VR, everybody. We are on our 186th event. Congratulations, Jeffrey. I know you congratulate every time, but that's quite an accomplishment.
You're doing all the work these days, so.
And special thanks to start off for our venue. We love this space. Got to give them a quick shout out. They have something called the Ideas Program, and that's where if you need a project done, instead of going the traditional contractor route or whatever, they use students from within WPI. They're dev students, they're design students, and under the guidance of a professor, an organizer, they crank out the same studio projects you get. And it's really high quality, there's lots of learning going on, lots of good feels there. And MassDigi is the overarching organization. It's a center for entrepreneurship, academic cooperation, and economic development across the Massachusetts games ecosystem. And if you want to learn more about either of these, Rob isn't here tonight, but Tim is, so say hi, Tim.
Raise your voice a little.
Sure. And our sponsor is also our speaker for tonight, so I'll spare you the details of iQ3Connect, because Ali will probably do a much better introduction to their technology, but thank you for the pizza, Ali.
You're most welcome.
Thank you. Thanks, Ali.
Quick update about December. We don't have a speaker event, but we're all going to be at the Boston Game Dev Holiday Party, which will take place here as well.
Right here, cash bar. I don't know, there's gonna be some food too, but the indies are handling that, so we'll see what happens.
No, I saw, well, Modulate is sponsoring.
Yeah, the money's coming, but Chris is organizing the food, so
Very cool.
we'll see.
And by the way, I shared this link on our Slack, and I'll share the Slack with everybody, and I'll post the link itself. You'll have access to this presentation, and it has lots of links in it, so take a look afterwards. Our next event is our Blender event, and John isn't here tonight, but he'll be hosting. That's at the Watertown Public Library, Saturday once a month. This time it's December 9th. Reminder, please join our Slack. It is in place. Tonight, I haven't set them out yet, but we have t-shirts. Come and see me if you want to be associated with Boston VR. Fancy t-shirts.
Charge more for that.
We
Come on.
haven't raised our price in 6 years. Good point.
Another community announcement. Andy is here, awesome. One of the Harvard Art Museums has a volunteer opportunity teaching tilt brush. Guide people through the experience. It's kind of like we'll be demoing after the event here. Welcoming people into their first VR experience. This is also an invitation to attend the event. The link is in the slides, and we'll be posting it on Start now.
And I brought old-fashioned paper flyers. So if people are interested, I came to help recruit, so
Wonderful.
thank you.
Feel free to leave a stack too by the demos. We'll hand them out.
Thanks a lot.
That is a picture of it. Big announcement. The coolest XR event of the year, MIT Reality Hack, is back on. It's in January, and applications are open now. You don't have to be a developer or a designer to sign up for this hackathon. You just have to be excited about the technology. Just say what value you plan to provide to the team building a project. For example, last time I was a project manager for one of the projects, but there's other creative ways you can help as an artist or an ideas person, etc. And And speaking of hackathons, we are organizing our own hack day coming up soon, but it's details still up in the air. Jose is lead on that. Come talk to Jose if you want to help. Oh, there's
Yes.
wearing an MIT reality hack shirt. So.
Yes. You get a
Small
free
world.
T-shirt at the event.
Yes. It's a 5-day event, by the way, kind of a big commitment. Totally worth it though. All the big companies there, very cool stuff.
A lot of hard work.
And in the more immediate future, right after this event, we'll probably go nearby. I don't know where, Jeff.
The barbecue place just a few doors down, they have drinks and other food as well.
But they won't be playing music from a few doors down.
I hope
Sorry,
not.
90s.
Oh. I was too old by then.
And let me introduce our speaker, Ali Merchant, CEO of iQ3Connect. You're going to see his product in a second. He has 2 decades of experience in 3D design and simulation software in the aerospace sector. His contributions include developing software tools and methods widely used in the aerospace and academic communities. Ali is an alumnus of MIT, holding a master's and PhD in aeronautics and astronautics, and is an XR enthusiast. Looking forward to hearing more about iQ3Connect.
Thanks.
I would love you.
Thanks, Casey. So I'm just going to make a shameless pitch about our product. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, don't worry about that.
Man. I'll get it back.
Thanks. Thanks to Boston VR. I think we're really happy to support you guys. I've known Jeff for many years. This is a journey. XR has been evolving. It's getting better and better every day. And I think everybody here can imagine that this is going to be part of our lives in ways that we probably can't imagine today. So again, thanks to Boston VR, Jeffrey, and Casey for this invitation. I've been playing around with 3D software and tools, and that kind of led to, oh wow, Oculus is very cool, and that kind of started this interesting journey. But VR has been around in the aerospace and other industries for a long time. If you go to Boeing, they have these massive $5-10 million installations. You go to Raytheon, you go to all these companies, and they've been using these systems for years. And now, what we're trying to do is do the same thing with a $500 headset and make it available to everybody, not the 1%, but you can imagine that anybody at GM could use this, or schools, and we know that's kind of happening. And so that's kind of the motivation of, can we make this really simple, easy for everyone? But as a startup, we focused more on coming from an engineering background. How do you make this technology work for lots of complex data? So we see, VR experiences, but if you want something that's technically accurate, I'm going to use this for manufacturing, and I need to make accurate measurements, or I need to see if I can get my tool inside the vehicle, or package something in an EV vehicle, or more complex construction type data. That is the kind of challenge that we set out to do, and those are the customers that we are tackling. And And this was a really hard problem. I mean, there are solutions out there, but they're big, expensive, and we took an approach which early on, WebXR, at that time it was Web VR in 2016, and not many people knew about it. It was like, it was like this constantly shape-shifting API, and things would break, and it was all in Chromium. And at that point, we decided that this is going to be a game changer. This is going to, really be something that makes XR accessible to everybody. And so we kind of jumped on that, and we built, a completely web-based platform to tackle these kind of problems. And that's where we focused, and not on, unfortunately, more fun things like games and other things. So the challenge in this space is there's a lot of complex CAD data. So companies that are building engines and cars and everything, all these products that improve our lives. We get on an airplane, and Boeing has these massive CAD data sets. You go to somebody like Toyota, they have like a 10, 20 gigabyte car, and how do you take that and make it work on a laptop? And so that's the technology, that's the problem we're trying to solve. And then why do we need this? Because this is great. I mean, we couldn't live without this, right? I mean, everybody jumps on a Zoom meeting or a Teams meeting, but this doesn't work when you say that I need to, train somebody to disassemble a powertrain, or train them on assembling a battery, or we're working, if you're in trying to put together some complex device, and you have a team in India, and you have a team in somewhere else, how do you bring all these people together? And so this has been some of the challenges that we learned in the market. And there are tools out there, but they're extremely expensive. So you maybe need to get a fancy graphics card, or you need to pay thousands of dollars for licenses. And that's something we wanted to disrupt. We said, can we make this kind of collaboration, the collaboration with engineering data, technically accurate data, as fast as easy as we can, and that's why that was kind of the challenge we took on, and we said, can we do this? So we built kind of an early prototype, and in 2017 we had just a browser window with start meeting and join meeting. Okay, but that was the start of our where we started, and from there we got some really initial traction, and we built a very scalable enterprise platform. But fundamentally, that's what we try to change. And today we have kind of our technology allows you to do very fast collaboration in a web browser. XR devices are optional. Obviously, everybody wants to use them, but not everybody may have them available. So we focused on web browser, any device, kind of this multi-purpose environment, multiplayer environment, where you could bring anybody in there and bring the data in very quickly. So you have a vehicle with maybe 100,000 parts, and you want to bring it in half an hour. And today, and if you can't do it fast enough, engineers will just throw it out and say, we want to use our old methods. So we had to make this thing work, reasonably fast to kind of get over that curve of saying, okay, this is useful. I can use this, in my daily work and really see the value. And that was something that took us a long time to cross, because initially when we first built it, we had this massive model, and the FPS was like 2 frames per second, and everything was crashing. But today we really enhanced the performance, and we built capabilities to a point where we can bring these large data sets in and run them at high enough frame rates so that people in India can collaborate with their teams in other parts of the world, and really make this whole system work. And just to give you a flavor, this is kind of a little bit of an explainer sort of marketing video, but you'll get an understanding of how the product works, and then we'll do a live demo. Okay, oops. This is supposed to fire up. Okay, so it's a bit of a marketing video, but you'll get the idea, right? So you can bring in technically accurate data in these workspaces, and you can have multi-user interaction very fast. And these are just, I mean, you're all familiar with XR, but you can, in this example, you're seeing documentation, you're seeing, a nice workspace, and you're seeing a vehicle, and different people can be on different devices, and it doesn't matter, okay? So that's kind of a quick flavor. And how does it work? So we have, and I'll show you, this is just kind of a little explainer here. So the way our platform works is you can just upload content. So you can have something as simple as a model from Sketchfab. But our enterprise companies have data from different CAD packages. And so we built a layer that is data agnostic, and you can just upload thousands of files. And we have built the capability to process that into an XR format. And then we can stream it very quickly to these browser-based workspaces. And they don't take up a lot of resources, so an organization can spawn literally hundreds and thousands of these and have these Zoom-like meeting rooms. Okay, and then it takes care of other things like securing all of that. And we have APIs, although there are companies that are using that. Mostly it's not meant to be an SDK, it is meant to be something where, a platform where it's almost sort of ready to use out of the box. And today I'll be doing the demo, and it runs on AWS Azure, or you can put it on any, I can run it on my laptop locally, but fundamentally it's something that runs in the cloud. So we have the dashboard there that allows you all of the administrative content management. We have these workspaces that you can use for ad hoc collaboration, as you saw there. You can just spin it up, and we're going to do a live demo. But we also have an authoring environment where you can actually create interactions. Okay, can I take this apart? If I do this, this happens. So we have a kind of a nice integrated environment where you can bring the content in, author it, and deploy it using a simple URL link. And the number of use cases that we have companies using it. So obviously one is design reviews, so you're doing virtual prototyping on various manufacturing applications. Virtual build simulation, so can I simulate an assembly process? And again, you can see the kind of complexity of the data that we need to handle in these browser-based workspaces. Virtual walkthroughs, so construction work. We can also handle scans, so we have an abstraction layer that doesn't care whether it's discrete data or scan data. You can bring it all together. So you can see here's an example of a scan facility using a LiDAR system. And on the right, you can see you're inside that facility, and they're trying to retrofit a new component in there. Okay, ignore that. That's one of our customers. And now we are, because of all of this capability, we are also putting together a nice, simple authoring environment that allows you to create step-by-step instructions that you can use in an AR experience or a VR experience, or just on a tablet or a laptop. So you can see here training on something simple like refrigeration for onboarding new technicians. And these are some of the training use cases. So you can literally grip things and take things apart. Virtual showcasing, so you can see you can bring a lot of complex data in there and have new engineers, even educational use cases, right, where you can can give somebody a headset. Students can use it. Assembly, disassembly, maintenance training, hazard situations. So these are things that, and we're also seeing some applications in health and safety, where very quickly you can put together a very simple safety training. You don't need to spend a month, 2 months, 3 months. I mean, these examples are things that are done in a matter of days, and you don't need to be a developer to do that. So that was one of our focuses, that can we do this without, can subject matter experts put together these kind of trainings? So here's an actual use case. So all the way from, can we showcase this to a customer, to product design, manufacturing, and training. This is another real use case, where this is a bridge construction company. So you can see what they do is they bring in the scans, and then they overlay their CAD data, and they can actually collaborate between different locations. So their fabrication and design teams can virtually collaborate. So this is something that they use in very interesting ways. So they have these meeting rooms running for days, and people can just asynchronously go in and out and work on their redesign efforts, as well as training. So there's a training element as well to this. Aerospace applications. So we've had companies that bring their pilots and technicians and all that in these virtual environments, and it's been successfully used for aircraft design as well as training. And then, so from the very complex to the very sort of consumer type scenarios, where you're training some a technician on a consumer product, and simple things like getting trained on things where it saves a lot of time, and your onboarding, you have continuous onboarding, so that's a very expensive process, and bringing in virtual training can significantly impact the cost. This is something we did with NIH for TV Day. So they were able to use the authoring environment to quickly put together a 3D experience, which you can access through a web browser. So that was a pretty powerful way to deliver this, and it also works in VR. So this is something we did for public learning, long distance learning, and educational experience. So that brings me to the end of my presentation. If you guys have any questions, and I can run through a demo of the platform, and then we can experiment, right?
Wow. Awesome.
Was that okay, boring?
No, that's wonderful. So I wanted to expand on one of his points, is when you're looking at a 2D representation of something, you're going to reconstruct the 3D, and everybody's going to do that in a different way. And it can almost be worse if you both have great powers of visualization, because you might end up, with VR, you get the geometry, you see it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
We have data, which obviously I can't share, but customers have been able to solve design issues that would have cost them a ton of time and money to fix. In VR, especially if it's technically accurate. So you cannot have gamified data there. You need to have very accurate data. But they can go in and literally simulate a build process. How's this thing going to be assembled? Are we going to run into issues? That was one thing. The other is delivering training. So we were able to help companies deliver training. And during COVID, even though there was a lot of, I think it helped XR tremendously. what we learned is that our customers didn't have all of the headsets, and they were training people on standard issue laptops with the collaborative environment that I'm going to show now. If I can get this to display. Did I pull that out?
So he's got like 5 different kinds of headsets back there. So you
Okay.
should try it.
So this is the kind of the entry point. We have a demo server that's running on AWS, and you basically just give you a quick overview of this. So what you see here is, you can have projects, you can have multiple meeting rooms that are running. These are like Zoom rooms, and we have a very simple model. We don't care if our customers can send this link to anybody they want to send it to. We don't care. We don't charge them by the number of users. Okay, so you see there's a Boston VR demo meeting that's running there, and the number of projects. So for example, I can click on project here, and this could be my own project, but I can invite other people to join that project. So if I'm working on designing a new car, I can do that. I can upload my 3D content here, so you can see I can organize it in folders. I can have point clouds. I can have different types of data sets here. And then so for example, if I have this, I can simply create a VR model. So just the simplest case is I can take something from Sketchfab, upload it, hit VR, it gets optimized, and it's ready to be used in our workspace. But you can also at the same time take a complete vehicle and push that button, and it'll do the same thing. So it's a completely automated process. The more compute power you throw at it, the faster it goes. Okay.
How are you optimizing? Are you like compressing meshes or?
Yeah. So everything has to be rendered as a mesh, but there could be thousands of individual parts, little nuts and bolts and everything. And so what happens is that in many cases you have to say, okay, I'm going to kind of combine all of these together, but we don't know that a priori, because a customer may want to pull out one bolt from these 10,000 bolts. And so our system allows them to do that without sort of a priori making any decision about how they're going to simplify the model, or that's the advantage and the speed that we're bringing to this environment. So I can, for example, pick multiple content here. Just a simple example of that. So now I've picked 2 models, and I can kind of schedule a workspace. So this is what we did for the Boston VR. Or I can go back, say, forget it, I just want to launch this workspace. And I can just launch this in the browser. And now what I have is not just a 2D environment, but what you're seeing is a completely 3D spatial environment that I can then join. So if you use the Oculus, you'll see the Oculus browser. If you're on the Hololens, you'll see the Hololens browser or the Magic Leap. And then if you click on that, you can actually go into the immersive mode, from this 2D to this immersive mode. And you can kind of customize the space. You can put your own branding, whatever. So it's basically running in the web browser just like a website. And then I can really throw in this data here. So I can literally pull in something that is. This is a real tractor. Okay, it's kind of on its side. I'm not very good without the mouse here, but I'm gonna try to. Oops. Okay.
Do you want a mouse?
Yeah. So here you can see all of the data in here. You can see all of the parts and everything. It's all here. And if you're in an immersive environment, you can go in and reach out. Oh, thanks. I don't know if this will work on this transparent. yeah, so I can be in this 2D environment as well as I can quickly just pop into an immersive mode like this, right? And so that's the speed and power, and this is a fully multi-user workspace. I can invite anybody to join this workspace. I can even swap out the data, right? So I can say, okay, I don't want this. Okay, this mouse is. I'm going to load. You know, I can load 10 different models, 10 different content. I don't have to prepare it. I don't have to, you know, do anything to it. It's automatic. I can move things around. So I can say, you know, I just want to move this. Okay, and now I've got, you know, this AGB, which is also got a lot of, you know, content here, and then this. So, and if you go in VR, it's a one-to-one model. Okay. So we also have a training environment, an authoring environment. So within the project, you can actually, you know, create trainings, walkthroughs, other things. So we have a training editor. I won't get into that. If anybody's interested, you know, feel free to contact me. We can make this available. But let's go to the experience here. So this is so now you can see I just created that workspace. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to join the Boston VR demo. Okay, and I'm going to call Colin. So Colin is in Michigan. Unfortunately, I don't want to, you know, we have a chat thing here, so you can see Colin there. And hey Colin, so we're in and you're on screen. So we have the Mars rover. Okay. So Colin is in VR. He's in Michigan, and he, you know, I don't know who that is. I think that's Victor, right at the bottom there. He may have put his headset on the ground. So very quick, simple environment. Even if you're not in VR, you know, we have companies where the executives are on there, you know, watching it on the big screen. And can you put us in follow the presenter mode, maybe? So now, basically, you're just following his point of view. Okay, so if you're not in VR, you can still have a very accurate and experience of the model. Okay, or whatever the 3D object that you may be designing, or we have instructor-led training. So you have an expert in the US training non-experts in other parts of the world, and you can take them through very complex configurations, walkthroughs of plants and refineries and whatnot. So, and you can do markup. Everybody can mark up. Everybody can interact. And you've seen this, like Meta Horizons has this, but they can't handle the complexity of the data. It's a lot of gamified. You know, you can bring in like small data sets. You can bring in massive data sets. This is a simple example, just to kind of, you can highlight, and so there's a lot of depth in the kind of tools that we provide. All of this has to match, for example, the part numbers, the bill of materials. All of those details have to, you know, match sort of the entire manufacturing production things. This is just a simple model from the NASA website. Okay, so you can click through it, you can look inside, and it works in very low bandwidth. So, you know, you can be, you know, pretty much anywhere. It doesn't require necessarily high bandwidth streaming. And so if I, for example, if I go in here, I have I can also highlight an object. So I can highlight this. So you can see that I highlighted that, and he can see that, right? So my name is here. You can see that. Colin, can you take that cylinder and just move it out of the way? The one I highlighted. So one of the questions we get, what's the limit on our, we've gone as many as 50 to 60 users. Somewhere there's a limit, but. So if you take this experience and look at it on the Hololens, it's an AR experience, and you can interact in the AR mode. Oh, okay. So finally, okay, yeah. So now he can take things apart. There are many precise tools, precise transformations, alignment, and so on and so forth. Someone asked about chat. So there's a chat window here. I can open that, and we can send chat messages. We have a built-in audio conferencing as well, and you can see. Okay, right now it's just 3 participants here. Okay, and if I click this, I go and follow the presenter mode. So now we are following Colin. Okay, so now we are following his point of view. If I release this, it's like screen sharing but in 3D, right? And now I'm free to move around, and I can see Colin, and I think someone else, maybe that's one of the devices there.
Yeah, it's probably the HoloLens.
Yeah, probably the HoloLens, yeah. And so these are very persistent, really changes the way you interact. You don't need an app, you don't have to install anything. Thanks, Colin. I'm just going to show them a training example. So the nice thing is I can be doing my everyday work, like, okay, checking my email, go to a website, okay, I can go to this workspace, and, oh, by the way, I forgot one thing. Colin, I don't know if, sorry, are you still there? Can we see a point cloud? So we can switch the data on the fly. So we can get rid of that. And this is a very interesting data set. We're working with marine salvage, and this is a huge problem. These vessels get onto the ocean floor, and it becomes a massive cost to insurance companies. So can you use 3D data to plan salvage operations? Not only cost effectively, but also in an environmentally friendly manner. So this is not what, so you can see the entire ship is like 63 meters. So if you put on your VR headset, it's like, wow, it's massive. But it's not aligned. I don't know, Colin, it's kind of on his side. So yeah, so you can see
That's pretty
it's still filling in.
Have you tried ocean splatting? The splatting technique that's been popular in the past couple of months.
What's that?
It's a way to generate, how do I say it, from the point cloud, not from the point, it's an alternative to a point cloud data. You have a bunch of photos.
What's the name of it?
Gaussian splatting.
Gaussian.
Yes, I've heard about
Gaussian
that.
splats.
Yes.
You do
Yeah.
that? Do you split it?
No, we're not doing that right now. I mean, this because we have a
How
number of
about
companies that get undersea lidar or other types of lidar, and so we provide them with a very simple tool for them to use for their engineering analysis, right? And something that's reliable. I mean, what we're focused on also is the reliability of the whole system. This thing is bulletproof. It just works.
Do you support 360 pictures or
Yes.
videos?
Yes. So if you have an E57 file, it will bring in all of the 360 images, and you can just pop it open. So wherever you put the scanner and get the scan, you can also get a 360 image, and you can pop it open, and then it will just, you're inside this 360 image. I don't know what it's called. Okay, yeah. So I think he's trying to, he left the workspace. I'm not sure what's going on, but let me. Okay, so that's an example. We have more, but so the other thing I wanted to show is the training. So this is the last piece of the example here, and so the same meeting room or workspace you can use for creating like interactive training. Okay. So now we can literally click through. And I can be in VR, or I can just do it on my screen. Okay, this is a very simple example. This was done by a student in a few days. He's not an expert, and he created this. I think there's audio. I'm not sure why the audio is not coming through, but now we can kind of click through, just learn about. Yeah. Okay, so it just shows something. You can put on the Oculus, highlights. Really simple example, but something that you can do in our authoring environment. Okay, and then we can jump to the quiz and so on and so forth. So just to kind of show you the versatility of the environment, going from very complex data to very simple assembly training that can be done in a no-code authoring environment.
Can you go in there in VR too?
Yes, so there's this button there.
So you can do it, all right.
Yeah, oh yeah, you can do it in VR, you can do it in XR, in AR as well. Obviously in AR, you don't want all of this backdrop, but you can have the pump on a table, and you can get rid of everything else.
Spatial recording of a meeting?
Sorry?
Can you do a spatial recording of a meeting?
Yes, we have a journaling environment where you
Yeah.
can, and so when you do a design review, you can capture all of the details and either leave it there persistently or pull it up on demand. So we have a number of tools to allow traceability. So yeah, so if you have students that are interested for educational, they have a SolidWorks model, they have an Inventor model, they do a tone project, they want to share with their friends, they can drop it in here, create a really nice experience, and just share a link. Yep.
In your authoring tool, how do you set up these interactions? Like I saw, like you're able to like pick up the cylinder and move it around, and apparently you can restrict the axis of movement.
So we,
What does
yes,
that look
so
like?
what, so let me, so here, for example, we have a 2D menu which we actually put in because of COVID, people didn't have headsets. But if you click on the space bar here, this shows you a very sophisticated menu which gives you a number of options, right? So I can click on this and I can move it along, an axis or a plane or whatever, or even freehand, right? I can just move it around, okay? But if I'm in VR, I can grab objects with a lot of precision. I can pick a pipe or a tube.
Can you also do that with sections of the point clouds?
Yes, if they're segmented. So you can move the whole point cloud, and you can align objects inside the point cloud. Okay, so you can do a number of things. Like for example, you can reset snapback. So if you're teaching somebody how to assemble something, they say, okay, bring it here, and then we have more tools that allow you to hint, provide a hint when they get close to it. So you can do very sophisticated things. These are like out of the box. So we have companies that will just onboard their CAD data and just create a meeting room, and within minutes or hours or whatever, they're up and running and they're using this very quickly. So these are like already built in. You don't have to do anything. Yeah.
Can you, I saw you were able to sketch like in AR, but if you're on your laptop, can you also like
yeah, so there is we have, sorry, I'm useless without my mouse here. I'm kind of resizing the browser window. Okay, so this is this same thing in VR. It'll show up on your hand, so you can interact. You can customize this as well. And we have a drawing menu, but this works only in the 3D space. But we also have a really nice whiteboard. So I can spawn a whiteboard and I can draw. And multiple people can draw on it. You can bring in PDFs, you can bring in videos. I can drop in. Resize this. Oops.
Was it 4 years ago, 3, we had a Boston VR in iQ3Connect
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
ages ago.
I apologize. I'm clicking. The mouse is not great. My touchpad. Okay, but so if I go here, I can, for example, throw in a video, right? So I can just drop this video in here. Okay. So this is like something that we use for the training, right? And I can just play it. So this I can do this on the fly. I can put this in a training scenario as well. Images, documents, I can pull in a PDF here. So, for example, I can then move this here. And so these are all spatial. I can move it. I can actually, almost like author in VR, you can say, in this environment. And then you can save it and then retrieve it. So this platform has evolved. You have hundreds of people using it and reading up on it.
So the menu being in the center works really well with VR.
Correct. We love the menu, but you have to do something about it. So we put a little button there and says put it in the corner. Okay. Because all of the functionality here, we could not build into the 2D menu yet.
Right.
It became too cluttered. So really, we want to force people to go into XR, and then it shows up on their hand.
Nice.
Jeffrey, you actually had an event with it.
Yeah, Boston
Wow.
VR. We had an event. There were like 14 or 15 people, and we were bopping around in a virtual house. It was fun. When was that?
A while ago.
It was pre-COVID.
Yeah.
COVID,
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Colin. Yeah. Take it easy. Bye. So yeah, let's play around with it.
Okay.
Thanks again to Boston VR. We
Thank
love
you.
the work they're doing, and we're really excited to support them.
And if you have more questions, Ali and Jeffrey and I will be over here doing demos. Come say hi.
Awesome.